Who's counting?
I am good at that.
But yeah, you get offended. Well, maybe one of them start the door, previous side. But allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, under indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence, please, these members of the fire district.
Roll call. Rich here. 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 Brian is there. John here. Bobby on.
Bob is on.
Bob.
Can you hear us, Bob? Bob Miller, can you hear us? Testing the speaker. Always connecting to audio. Standby. Can you hear us, Bob? Yeah, he's on.
Public session for agenda items only.
On then, fire district, ready for WFD building upgrade. Man, Bob, or Joey.
It was a slow month. I don't really have a report, nothing going on really. That's good. That's a good thing.
Right? Bob Miller. Have anything rebranded?
I don't know if this is the proper spot, but looking at one of the things we discussed long range, it was close to this pop count.
Discuss that.
I'm fine with it now, but if the committee feels like they're all set with the building and no outstanding work to be done, I'm good with that. But I was going to ask you, it's like 158,000 have you used up, pay down the bond. The bond payment due June 1st, so I was thinking maybe we could, if he closes it out tonight, we could utilize those funds to help pay for the bond. And then, that frees you on status, but that makes other money available.
Foresee anything. Oh, Bob's got everything under control with the addition and all that, so. I think we're good.
Terry, do you have any input on that?
The money for the overhead door is different,
Yeah.
so it's not coming out of that anyway.
Bob Miller, can you hear us there? He's muted, it looks like. Need to unmute Bob if you want to talk.
But you make resolution that we have. Whatever the proper verbiage is to close out the bond.
Motion made by Brian, need a second.
Do we need to add the pay the true payment on it?
I was thinking we do that under the treasurer's department, regional license, it's the balance that's available. We can do that as moving the treasurer report to utilize it.
On the resolution by Rick, roll call,
Rich?
Aye, Dan.
Aye.
Aye.
Bob?
Miller,
Right? Motion carries, DFD president's report. Jason. We have a new member that we voted in, Chris Laguerre. Yeah. Long time resident, who works at a bank, has a stay-at-home dad or a single dad. But he's be a good fit. We just had a last minute building request that's coming in about 2 minutes before the meeting started. So it'll be submitted by John Soroka on behalf of the North Greenbush Ambulance Association to do a public presentation on that building for Monday, June 1st. Executive committee, in a quick group text is okay with it, so they'll have to be at work. Then our installation bank is scheduled out for next year, Browns, on March 6th. So if you're interested in attending, we'll be having you next year. And then we're finalizing our constitutional bylaws, just waiting on Carrie's marks. Good to go with that. That's all I got.
Question for you, Jason. Based on your report you submitted, what is BUR?
Building use request.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, that's my secretary shorthand. Taking all these notes, almost 14 years.
All right. All set. We'll do the facility use request together with the wine and skills. Wine and skill president's report.
They did submit 4 applications that are there, but we didn't get an official report from his president.
Or look at the building request.
4 member applications.
I don't think there's any building use request, right?
No, they didn't have that.
There's no building use request. Yeah.
NA, I'm sorry. Where's your bill? You have.
I'm gonna write it up.
You don't, okay, all right.
Government Massachusetts.
Got that right now.
Approval of the prior months. Additions, corrections, deletions. Made by Brian to approve, the second. John, all in favor? Aye. Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report being reduced to cost, it was under review and signed off on, so the auditors are happy. The money market account has a reconciled balance of $1,344,101. Here, $1,535 worth of interest. The breakdown of that amount, those funds is $1,183,796 as capital reserve equipment. $108,486 capital reserve building. Repairs, $118.69. WF or the bond fund that we had for the upgrade to WFP has a reconciled balance of $158,049.06. Earned $180 in interest. The checking account has a reconciled balance of $966,482.08, earning interest of $1,145 for the month. All of the bank recs, although you're signing off on those there, are attached for your additional review. So near the end, you will see the P and L of the budget to actual expenditures for the year, broken down by categories. And then the final documentation attached is our check register for all the authorized payments that were made during the month of April, dollar amount, those payments, payee's name. Although when making the resolution, I would like to I'd like the board to utilize that $158,049 that remains in the WFD bond fund to use it to help offset the payment of the WFD bond that's due June 1st. It's like $243,000. So this will be used to help satisfy that debt.
Any questions for Sean before? Or entertain a resolution to accept the treasurer's report and also utilize the $58,000. Resolution made by Rich, so second by John. Roll call.
John? Aye. Brian? Aye. Dan?
Aye.
Rich? Aye. Bob?
Bob Miller,
He hears us, but he can't unmute for some reason. Oh, okay. Yeah, can you unmute him now? All right, we're on approval of the current month's invoices.
Look over, anything put that along? No problem. Question. Resolution of the indulgence.
Mr. Chairman, you have John over there, so you'd have to do one second. Stay.
I can abstain that.
So this is, we're gonna pull yours, actually. We'll do yours.
Okay.
So,
Resolution is to pay all the bills except for John Rothrock.
second it, roll call.
Rich? Aye. Dan?
Aye.
Brian? Aye. John? Aye.
He's got Aries.
Another resolution to pay John Rothrock's bill.
Second. Roll call.
Rich?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Brian? Aye. John?
Abstaining.
Correspondence.
All right, we received the M&T Bank and month-end collateral statement. We got a BFIS claims check of $500 for WFD Car 2 claim. There's reimbursement for phone charges. Brian McRae, he submitted a check to pay that. Association of Fire Districts in New York, the Fire District Affairs newsletter was received. The VFIS news for Emergency Services Organizations for spring was received. Just 1 second. Looks like Bob's on with us now. Yep, can hear you, Bob.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Then there was a disclosure statement received by Jason Christie. There was also 2 documents that were sent. Both of them were FOIL request responses to a Mrs. Rice, one dated April 29th, one dated May 1st.
Old business. Old business, which we had previously, but we'll take action on that. The preschool fire station on June 1st, request is for the, by the North Greenbush ambulance. Public presentation for the new ambulance garage on this side of town, and I believe renovations. The ambulance garage.
I'll make it all the should be Rich, all in favor? Aye. Approved. Thank you. New business, parking lot and school coding.
Never know what it actually is.
Dropbox. We closed one for 1450. One for 800. What's your recommendation? 9800.
Yeah.
Prestige.
And I did meet with him to go over a couple concerns we had from 2 years ago. Very good meeting with Eric.
Resolution approve this. Prestige. Resolution 95. John, need a second? Second. Brian, roll call.
John. Hi. Brian.
Fine.
Dan.
Aye.
Rich. Pop. Aye.
Carries. Chiefs report, DFD.
I have a chief's report. Purchases were submitted to Robert Durivage for approval, predominantly PPE purchases. Training requests submitted for Dan Sheehan for the New York State Association of Fire Chiefs Conference in June. We had a driver training application submitted for James Schneider. The IAR pre-alert and audio incident feature is now working for DFD. Members will now receive an alert when our pagers go off, pre-alert, and approximately 1 minute after dispatch with the audio incident where we can hear the recording of the actual dispatch. This will help with situational awareness when members are not able to have their pagers close by. Thank you to Supervisor Busta from the 911 Center for the IAR IT support team for rectifying the issues. In addition, IAR customers service has been tremendous. Their IT help desk is quick to respond with an email and most times a phone call to fix the issue. I've reached out several times over the last few years and have been very pleased with them. Bonnie and I spent some time going through Alpine reports last week. We were able to answer several questions that prevented incidents from being validated and submitted. We will be updating our reports to make sure crews and are documenting correctly, which will help streamline the validation process. Bonnie reported that being able to import the CAD notes into the report has been very helpful. DFD had a busy month. DFD responded as a fast team to Clinton Heights Fire Department for 2 working fires. DFD provided fast and additional crews to assist with suppression and overhaul during those incidents. Strong work by the crews that responded to the working fire in Rikers Lane in the Wine and School side of town. The actions of North Greenwich Fire District prevented extension to the main residence and minimized damage to the garage. Thank you to everyone who responded to these 3 calls and the 47 others we had in April. DFD will be participating in the Rensselaer Memorial Day Parade on Sunday, May 24th, as well as the North Greenbush Memorial Day Parade and wreath laying that happens in the morning. DFD will be hosting training on Wednesday, May 13th for the New York State Police Contaminated Crime Scene Emergency Response Team. This training will help prepare the hazmat troopers to respond to hazardous drug lab. DFD members will be invited to join as the team routinely needs help from local fire departments and decon support. The CTE students from Rensselaer Fire Department have been invited to participate as they work through their BPO training, and it offers them a chance to see and work with other public safety partners. And you should have an email on that request from the state police team leader. Members from the Rescue 9 Committee will be traveling to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for the Lancaster County Firemen's Association Fire Expo this Saturday, May 16th. This expo will get the committee out of our region, able to see how other parts of the country are designing their apparatus and possibly different equipment being used. The committee lost some steam in April as it was a busy month with department, district, and external meetings, which made it hard to schedule a field trip. We hope to regain momentum with this upcoming expo, as well as the New York State Association of Fire Chiefs Conference in Syracuse, June 10th through June 14th. Starting with Chief Booth, 3 years ago, DFD began updating and refining our driver training procedures. DFD updated the annual VFIS cone course to meet the most up-to-date standard. Sent several of our driver trainers to the VFIS Train the Trainer program, added a yearly pump operator requalification, and began streamlining our process to get drivers through the program. The driver training committee also consolidated all our driver training documents, check sheets, and procedures into one consolidated form so it can be easily referenced and updated. The driver training group also created from scratch operational manuals for each DFD apparatus. Chief Wilson provided DFD with WFD driver training forms as well that we were able to take ideas from and start to work on consistency between DFD and WFD training programs. I'm asking that the Board of Fire Commissioners take the necessary steps to update the North Greenwich Fire District #1 driver training SOG in hopes to update our dated program, streamline getting members into and through the process, add consistency between both stations, and most importantly, offer a complete document that driver trainers can research in their training and driver trainers can reference while instructing, in order to provide the highest level of training to North Greenwich Fire District members as possible. I would like to thank DFD Training Committee for their efforts, WFD Chief Wilson for the cooperation, and DFD Safety Officer Durivage for leading this process. Please see that you have an attached document regarding that as well. And the last part of the chief's note, Assistant Chief Steer has in regards to a visit we had with the
The district was invited by the maintenance supervisor, facility supervisor down to New York State Armory on Glenmore Road. So we paid a visit down there last Wednesday. The 42nd Infantry is deployed in Kuwait still. So luckily there's a lot of people down there. So it was a perfect time to go through. There was a couple officers from North Greenwich Police that were with us, and we went through, tested the Knox box access points, access through the gates, and identified a bunch of areas of concern for hazardous materials like chemicals and petroleum products, because they service most of their vehicles at that location. So the supervisor had asked that we put together a list of concerns, both police and the fire department, which we've done. We're going to be emailing that back to them. Hopes to have a drill probably in our third quarter down there with going drill to get more familiarized with the facility down there. It's changed dramatically since we were last down there years ago. That is all.
Take action on a few of these here. Driver training request for James Schneider. Well, it's a once, use of the facility by the state police for the 13th. Wait. Aye. Motion carries. Are you looking for approval on the driver training policy tonight, or was that just kind of an FYI?
I think it's an FYI so you can review it and make sure that you're comfortable with it.
Okay. And your purchase requests, we'll wait until.
Mr. Chairman, so they're traveling out of state. So the board will need to or approve them for May 16th, and my attorney is saying that it's like technically like for a training education for the purpose of the apparatus.
All right,
It's necessary and it's not available within the state a reasonable time and distance. That'll be incorporated into your motion.
do all that, so I entertain a motion, to approve the out of date,
Let me make it easy. Pursuant to general municipal law, section 72 G 1B and C. That basically says it's got to be reasonable and necessary, not available to the state, and then it's also incumbent upon the chief to send a letter to OFPC telling them they're not states. They've got a battery of people in OFPC that are there waiting to accept those letters and read them aloud.
Right. All right. I'd like to make that motion. Rich, need a second?
Second.
John, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 That's really just an FYI. All right. Hugh Wilson, your turn.
Evening, the monthly report was submitted and completed, thanks to Bonnie for all her hard work. Purchases were submitted. Asking for the part of the and the also the town memorial day parade again. We have 4 probationary firefighters complete the VFO class, Nick Brock, Dan Ryder, Kevin Sage, Juan Flavin. 3 of them will be moving into the VFO class. 5 members completed the truck company operations class, Lieutenant Andy Child Rose, Captain Nick Stevo, Chief Ed McMahon, and firefighter Val McMahon, and firefighter Chad Castle. 4 new members getting voted in tonight by the district. That brings the total probationary members to 13. Out of those 4, one of them comes basically fully trained. Good. 2 of the members, Assistant Chief Chris Wilson and Captain Nick Stevo, on the badge disposing weekend at George. Let's see your apparatus. The truck 4-2. I had a conversation with Jeff Mir, the outrigger box. That been a nightmare for them. It's still being a nightmare. He's currently working on the down control lever and the bucket. Trying to locate parts for that. He did inform me that Chick Dino from Bulldog now works for him. So Chick left Bulldog to work for Premier now. Chick from the Bulldog.
Anthony.
Anthony, yes, yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. So he works for them now. How old he is. With that conversation about risk report 2, just update some other things they've been working on. Keep moving along. Great. Hopefully ahead of schedule a little bit. Still trying to get them ready for Memorial Day, but pretty sure that's not gonna happen. The light tower that's been upgraded. They're just working on an electrical ground issue with that. The additional light bars have been ordered. And Lieutenant Charles reached out to about doing a big project meeting inspection over there next week or so. And maybe working on tool mounts, accessories, to get that prepared. Back to do our tool mounting. I talked about today about the command vehicles. Apparently the light came in the other day and they called me today about it.
I asked him to call you, so.
So yeah, so I relayed that message to Chief McMahon, bring the vehicle over. That's really all I got. Thank you.
Chief. The purchase request, you've got them listed out there for DFD and WFD. Only just under $3,000.
20,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, 20. Oh, I was saying, geez, I just gave you an extra 20 grand to spend.
Well, that's good. That's good.
We took it back.
That too, it's been a few years since 20. So
Grand total, just over 20. I was adding the grand total to the original subtotal. Moved by Brian, seconded by John. Roll call.
John.
Aye.
Brian.
Aye.
Dan.
Aye.
Rich. Bob.
Aye.
Right. Standing committee reports, apparatus, equipment, and fire pneumatic operations, Rich and.
You heard from the, DFT chief report that with all the recognized today. Whoever's principal session, everything's on us. Part of the truck 4-2, you received some more documents that we you will be taken care of for the actual contract to be signed. There's also some financial things that can be finally resolved with the truck working purpose. We need to address that at some point, in some way. Bob, you want to comment on truck 42 before I?
We got a copy. Mr. Durivage forwarded me a copy of the specs with the Sourcewell thing that I'm going to have a meeting. I'm going to try to get that copy of that specs out to everybody, make sure they can review that, have one more meeting before our next meeting so that we'll be able to say the specs are in accordance with what we asked for. Got the specs from Rosenbauer, but now it's got another specs through Sourcewell. Is that correct, Bob, what I'm stating?
No, it's the original specifications that Terry's gonna have to incorporate some of the legal language
Okay.
we want in the specifications. And then there's, I just think, some housekeeping issues on the specifications that the committee is gonna look at.
I'm gonna put it on the record here, repeating it. We were told that all that had been taken care of, but in preparation for last month's meeting, all we had was our list of 15 or 18 questions that they had, and given answers to those 15 or 18 questions in a different color, and we kind of went through it and said, gee, it looks like they addressed everything. When the truck specification came this week, late last week, this week, what we get Thursday, Friday came. I got a copy on a Dropbox, and I've spent 7 or 8 hours since then going through this paragraph by paragraph, line by line. And I've got a list of things that, you know, are either it might be my ignorance I got a question on, or things that are downright wrong. I know they're wrong because some of them are clearly things that were left over from the Niskayuna specification that never got cleaned up in this specification. But there's some other things that I got questions on. I know things that we discussed. There's some things that just aren't clear. So, you know, I really think we need to, you know, we're spending $2.4 million. I think we need to make sure that every T is crossed, every I is dotted. This is not a, you know, this is not sending a Chiefs car down to Goodyear for 4 new tires. This is something a little more complex than that. We really need to make sure we got it right. I'm not saying I don't trust them, but at some point, some lawyer somewhere, I say that in dearest terms, some lawyer somewhere is going to say specification is the contract. And we may wind up eating a change order because the specification is the contract. I just don't want to see that happen.
Rich, I would like to, I'm tied up through probably another week and a half. I can't leave the house. But I'd like to sit down with you and we can go over those, just the two of us, and then I can see where I am with it. I mean.
You want to wait a couple weeks to contact you?
Huh?
Wait a couple weeks to contact you for a time, or what do you want to do?
I can talk on the phone and stuff. Yeah, I just can't leave the house.
All right, well, we'll get together. We'll get together on the phone after the meeting.
Okay.
You're able to think you're gonna say something.
No, it's $2.4 million project that needs to be done right, and serves exactly the ones that we've had. I've had discussed with Bob. When that thing comes rolling in here, you want to make sure it's what you ordered, not what somebody said, oh, it's part of the spec. You didn't fix this, or you know. And it's kind of bizarre that almost $2.5 million. It's almost like it's more of a handshake than I think any other rig that you've ever bought. It's just kind of mind-boggling, the attitude and perspective of the manufacturers now. This is a big deal, and obviously it's going to unfortunately require more time given the way it's kind of come back to you with the please pay. Here's an invoice, please pay.
The driver training. I was involved in, back in 2023, I was involved in writing some of that. Here, and it's finally made its way to the point that the fire company's happy with it, presenting it to the district. There's a lot there. This is gonna take, things that we look at it for operationally, that's what I'm speaking to it from, and Brian from the perspective of figures. If we're gonna make this a district policy, it's gonna do to a good degree change the way both fire companies have been training and qualifying drivers, if it's going to be truly a district policy.
Anything else? All right, we'll move on. Buildings and grounds.
The memo was made. Let's find that. Forgot all about that.
In Dropbox. Or
Here it is. I got it right for me. I'll bring that up now too. It looks like we're gonna have a change coming in the way we've been doing our continuing ed for our EMTs. Apparently, after July 31st, CIC that's been doing our continuing ed will no longer be CIC, which makes it very difficult for them to do it first. Which happens to be at the same time that our contract with that person also expires. There's a proposal here that's been floated for another CIC, happens to be a member of Brisbane, an active CIC for the New York State Police, Jason Christie, to become the CIC for the district. Worthy of some consideration. You've all had a chance to read over Bob's memo. I don't know that we need to act on it tonight, but I think we need to lean towards it. We definitely need to act on it either tonight or next month. Well, actually, we can probably go into July with it, but I don't think we want to do that. I think that's going to leave our people at odds. Got to get some feedback from our current EMTs as to, the fact that our continuing ed is no longer going to be available. I was one that had always floated the idea of just going under the ambulance. But in discussion with the ambulance, even the ambulance chief has indicated that we're better off doing it with Jason because we're going to get a better price than he can get us. To the ambulance. So it's going to be cost effective. It's going to be somebody we know. It's something we can do in-house. I think we probably going to discuss this in an executive session.
Buildings and grounds, John. Bob Miller.
I'm good.
No, nothing, Bob.
Nope.
Last year we talked about with the water penetration coming through the windows here. Different windows. Water was coming in. Talked about waiting until the spring to start working on the window project. We're gonna be glazing and all the sill replacement. It's already May, so it might be a good time to start. Maybe Bob can get some quotes for it. So we'll take action or decent amount. We talked about during long range planning, probably looking about $20,000. And that's just a spitball, so no amount tonight, but at least Bob can give us real quotes on getting the windows. That's the cost, the bills coming.
And Brian, just to add to that, what I would do first is just kind of develop a scope of work.
Fair.
Run that by Elizabeth from CSR to make sure copacetic and it's in the instruction language correct. Then we can send it out to several vendors.
But the that the work detail that we did here on the New York Day. The building and marked up a detailed list of stuff that we tentatively identified as best we could, whether it was fire company or district or we in some cases we weren't sure. How that has anything going, I it's only a short time.
Putting on my other hat, consolidated with the company list of other things that we had on inherited the company role as vice president. And make it one master list.
I can't think of anything else that was pressing the Windows district obligation, but
Windows were the biggest district.
Windows were the biggest.
And that is working radio ring on the table. Yeah.
that would have probably been the next page.
Yeah, that everything's kind of,
Okay,
that's been got taken care of.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Their personnel. On the draft and updated, letter of media body. District, data person, like, so. That chart, thank you, Sean, for doing that.
And I'm sorry, there was 2 emails you sent me on the 31st, and the one was behind me, saying that. I apologize.
No problem. Finance,
No, for district.
all right, finance, insurance and LoSAP. Finance or insurance and,
Yeah, that's what I covered off long range plan, but I'm doing it to be able to sign all this paperwork. Last year was Michelle get over there.
yeah.
Oh, what's it like?
And actually, Michelle emailed me it right back yet, for Joe's contact information. A while since I contacted Joe, so I'm not sure if I even have up-to-date contact info.
Oh, okay.
For you to get
Yeah,
Michelle that. Did she have Brian's contact info?
I included emails that sort of follow up.
Okay. Leave it to, yeah, LoSAP and long range planning and. After that.
Anyway, we had the long range plan meeting a couple weeks ago. You guys should all, if you had reading notes, Dropbox. Just to summarize, without getting. Whatever it is. So we did all the things that we talked about. We looked at the budget, so, we get an idea where we're at with everything. One of the things that we did point out that it's not allocated on the spreadsheet. We have a copy of it. It should be in the box, okay? You have a copy, it looks like this. One of the things that's not on there financially speaking, a lot of it looks at apparatus and how to budget the tax rates and all that kind of stuff. Nothing has been penciled in yet, the airpack. About 15 years of service with the airpack. And our recommendation is to start looking at how to spread out the debt, so to speak. Maybe just do one major piece of apparatus each side of town for a year, just to get, instead of it was about almost 15 years ago, we just bought like 80 of them, whatever the heck it was, and to some $100,000. So we do recommend that we start looking at doing that. We do got to plug those numbers in. They're not plugged in here yet. So when you look across the end balance, you can see where you start running into a deficit stuff, especially in 2032. One of the things we did to help try to offset the deficits, we started looking at different things. We started looking at the fact that in September, we had our last meeting, we had approximately $300,000 left over in the bond. We've since then change orders and moving things from here to there, things that came up that weren't necessarily caught during construction. That number just went down to 158,000, which we voted to move over today. However, that took money away from Port 2 and Rescue 9. So one of the things we looked at was increasing taxes in 2028. To help offset the debts that we're going to run into prior to Truck 42's purchase, we're proposing to move that tax rate, which was going to be in 2028 to 2027. And you can see the numbers where it actually kind of, we get into the positive for a little bit. One side concern is, while it puts cash in there for Truck 42, It creates possibly an issue with Rescue 9. And I talked to Rescue and the chiefs who've been looking at the different trucks. We had initially penciled in $1.2 million for Rescue 9. That's what people are paying today and last year for rescues. So we did bump the number up to 1.485, I believe it was. 1.45 million for 2030 for the person, right? So we did that number. So like we got time on that, but we'll have to probably consider the ways to fix that, whether it's partial finance and bonding, whatever the case may be. We should start thinking about that probably next year or so at the latest, just kind of get an idea where we're at. Sure about the meetings for that, for that, we looked at the chief's budgets. Right now, they get approximately 110,000 a year for equipment, which is a decent amount until you start figuring the cost of gear. Right now, the chiefs can get an idea, like they may be able to budget for 3 sets of gear here and there. One of the things we're looking at proposing is down the road, whereas a year or two, is making that more capital expense or capping the number of sets of gear that the chiefs are responsible for. Because like if they get an influx of new members, for that's 4 sets of gear they have to get. And that's that tick they can't get, the forecast meter they can't get, or equipment that. So we are looking to find ways to get that more to the capital side of it, where it's like, the first 3 sets are on you guys and the rest is on the district, whatever. But that's something we got to discuss down the road. Ladder truck, we started talking about that in September of 2025. We were given notes from the apparatus committee that the truck was going to be between 1.9 and 2.1 million dollars. We're looking at 2.2 and change right now. There is some concern from some members about the language. You see about Rosenbauer, the Sourcewell contract that's in your Dropbox. They have that caveat on the bottom where they talk about inflationary increases due to supply chain and volatility of the market, all that fun stuff. We just want to point out to the commissioners here that while yes, we have 2.4 on paper, the truck's already about 2.25. There's not a lot of wiggle room if this truck goes over. So really got to keep them tight on what they're throwing out in front of us. There's not going to be a lot of room for like, oh, let's add this or add that. Unnecessary stuff. The money is tight, period. Like I said, we lost money by dipping into the bond over the past 6 months, 7 months, whatever it's been. We looked at the truck court 2 progress payments. You all saw the email from the salesperson says he didn't say what he said. There's no point in making progress payments. There's no savings at all. So it's probably just best to keep the $1.32 million sitting in some type of fund to earn some interest on it. And we did recommend that the commissioners and possibly director of purchasing and others to start looking at all the programs we're paying and see if, just control contracts, VFIS, whatever the contracts may be. It's kind of basically, long story short, we start kind of tightening the belt a little bit. We're comfortable with vendors and different contracts and stuff, but maybe it's time to start reviewing everything. Start see if we get savings. And it's not about being cheap, it's about the fact that we had to buy 2 trucks. They're gonna be close to $4 million. Sorry, Sean. That's all that look. The capital repair reserve fund really needs to start getting addressed. It's down to $51,000. We couldn't basically replace any major repairs for SOL. We moved it to freeze those 10 years and counting. The driveway goes, that's $250,000. So we really need to start kind of funding that again. We recommend at least getting up to $125,000 recommendation from the treasurer. Apparatus. We did ask Bob, just because of the timeliness of it, Clinton Heights is selling their vehicles over the next 2 years. One could be up for sale as early as June. Right now, we have $75,000 budgeted in 27 and $75,000 budgeted in 2028. Looking at right now, it's under 25,000 miles. We don't know what Clinton Heights Fire is going to ask for it, but we're looking to buy the 2 used ones. They'll both be 5 years old. And hopefully $30,000-$40,000 in savings for each one. That money can help go towards it. And and they may come back and say they want 60,000 ungodly number, but it can do walk away, but Bob has reached out to Commissioner Tracy. I've forwarded you guys the email. They should have had your email. I don't approve anything ahead of time, like, but they could be looking in June was about.
Yeah, they said, no earlier than June.
So that one may become available this year, and everything comes replacing. It's that kind of thing. But there was talk at
On the Chiefs cars, they become available in June. And for some reason, we need to take quick action on that before the next regular meeting. Special meeting, limit just that. Okay. We don't want to miss the post.
we do have the cash if we have to purchase them. So that's a good thing there. At the request of Commissioner French, and so feel free to jump on. You're good. Okay, thanks. We started looking at, I'm not going to split hairs on the terminology, station keepers, paid firefighters, whatever we want to call it. A lot of different opinions, how many, if they're needed, if they're not needed, all that kind of stuff. One of the things we realized right up front is, we ain't get the money right this second. So Chief Sheen had brought up a contact connection he has, this woman, Joyce Pettis, lives up in Greenfield up that way. I guess she specializes in this kind of stuff. So we're looking at maybe make an initial contact, get a third party feasibility study like we've asked for, I believe you asked for a couple of years ago, Dan. About looking at our operation as a whole. Are they needed, if they're needed, how it would work, that kind of stuff. So we'd like to be able to at least move forward and reach out to her, just get some just initial ideas, she may do it for $10, may do it for free, maybe $10,000. We don't know yet, but at least start making the contacts. We've talked about it for 3 or 4 years, back and forth, no action. So that's all on us, but so we'd like to be able to reach out to her, just get some initial connections there. We have some problem, any issues that we discuss later too also, but just to get the ball rolling. So,
I think that's wise to get third party partial to.
and that's what we're kind of agreeing, looking at, just somebody who's not vested in this. There's no emotion. It's just somebody looking at the North Fire District.
And I know Joyce and I believe she's in Bob's position with Greenfield Fire District. Or you might be able to, yes.
Yeah, a little more on the secretarial side.
Okay. You're telling me that she does consultant work. I'm never aware of that. So
Dan, I think
they run a very,
TC.
they run a very interesting organization up there.
It comes on Firewise and so on. So that's something we're looking to just reach out. There's no action necessarily take, but she would reach out, make contacts. Everybody here is good with that. Low staff, as you know, we've been discussing multiple different options and where it's like start looking at certain different things. First off, we're not 100% funded. So I'd like to go with a full buyout. It's probably not even feasible to begin with. That's just, we're at what 80-something% funded, 86% funded. So like even if everybody took a buyout, so instead of going back to all these different options, whatever, we'd like to reach out to MP Hill. He was the third vendor we interviewed, Firefly, and have him actually look at it, see what we can do. I guess, pardon the term, Terry, but legally would have to go to a vote. Almost like have him as a consultant. It's an email with a rough quote. Again, the time of this goal was to have changes in place for 2027. So we'd like to reach out to Anthony, start getting some things laid out for us, and what can we and what can't we do. Some of our money is tied up, honestly. If we try to withdraw money or get on the CFIS plan, there is a penalty. Couple that with not being fully funded. Like to run some different ideas by him. Rather than keep throwing things out every month and get all members up in a panic, because no action's being taken right now. But the idea is just sit with him. What can we do? What can't we do? They come back with proposals to the board that we can discuss. So if everybody's okay with that, he does, it's normally preferred to do a startup program from the ground up. That's $4,000 roughly. He was away all weekend and we reached out to him like, what was it, Friday night. He did write back, like I said, I forwarded you guys the email. So we'd like to sit down with him and talk, and he thinks it would be less than the 4,000 for consulting services to help us in moving through whatever direction we want to go. like you see his language and where you talk about really down.
That's something. So we don't delay things. We want to get approval. Like up to a certain amount and authorize the execution of that.
Yes. If at least
Kind of delaying everything.
we'll start talking right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Up to $4,000.
not changing the plan. just
Absolutely not.
Like entering into an agreement.
The time sensitivity obviously is
Great.
if there's stuff we want to do, and we have to put it on the ballot, so to speak, versus what don't we have to put on the ballot. A lot of stuff that we have some options and some ideas, but we don't know if they're legit. But if he says he does have to go on a ballot, yeah, a little bit more time, but if it has to be on a ballot, we obviously get a little quicker with it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be advantageous for us to take action tonight. Don't know the exact dollar amount, and he hasn't really given us the legal wording of this contract yet, but the man's very knowledgeable, and I think it would be a great resource to help guide us.
We get you that presentation to it.
Yeah.
Professional services.
How do you think proper resolution here?
Make let's go ahead and make a resolution that we authorize no more than $4,000 to
No, I think, why don't I switch around? Authorize the appointment of Tony Hill to examine the district's LoSAP program, make recommendations. With it, but.
Firefly admin agents.
Give a second.
Second.
All right, John, roll call.
John.
Aye.
Brian. Aye. Peter.
Aye.
Rich.
Aye.
Bob.
I don't know if he can hear, he logged out and he's back in, but he's still muted. Who made the motion?
John. Obviously.
absolutely. And basically just a statement, if anybody has any questions, John, want anything? Yeah, you covered most of it. Yeah, I think you covered it very well.
What meeting?
Yeah, it was productive.
Right? But. And then, Terry provided us, some information regarding sexual harassment policy from, New York State, some resources there. Can you expand on that a little bit, Terry?
Yeah, periodically the state blows the dust off sexual harassment, training and requirements. So there's a couple of minuscule little things that need to be buffed up in your policy, so, did that. The policy itself hasn't changed much since its inception in 2016, but there were some changes. Mainly having to do with shifting burdens and things of that sort. Probably the most monumental thing we've done is basically implemented a more New York centric sexual harassment training program that your members can participate in online if they don't attend the mandatory training or don't attend the drill for it. So rather than going to VFISU, kind of a generic, I'll have all the materials that are New York State centric, New York State law, with easy to follow instructions and, you know, the training program that the state says is best because it'll be somewhat redundant for those people that are taking it or taking it elsewhere. But it's geared towards number one policy. Like the word manager is changed often. The whole point of this is to get program in line with the state's mandates. And for two reasons, essentially. One, that there's no inconsistency with what the state says you have to know and what the policy says. Secondly, so if you attend the training drill, you will probably get you get the same information, more concise and probably quicker. You don't attend the drill, you will self-teach or self-administer the state's program. They don't call it a test, they call it an assessment. that You have to fill out. Maybe you have support others or something. Submit it, and then you'll comply with the state's and the district's requirement for that training. So it just keeps everything streamlined, and everything the district does compliant with New York. And if there's ever an issue, you can say, here you go, state, here's our program. Yours with our name on it.
That, do we need to take action?
Is an outside employers sexual harassment training like at the college? Does that suffice for this? If I were to turn in that certificate, or do I have to take? One of my other employers does accept Hudson Valley. Harassment training.
Yeah, the training is the same. Scenarios are the same. Problem is the policy has different language, but it's not complicated. Where you would go to a manager or a dean or whatever your chain of command is. Now you would go to an officer or a chief or a commissioner. So could, but I think there's still a component where you have to say, I've looked at the district's policy, and I'll get this. Yeah, you have to sign. There has to be some evidence of signing off on policy that you know where it is. There's that actual sheet that every individual has to be given every year that says, here's where we're going to find the policy. And But to answer your question, that's a very difficult question. If you were a temporary employee hired by a labor agency and worked at 17 different employers, you only have to take training once. So that's the argument the employers on. Well, no, I mean, if you work for like Manpower.
No, I understand.
So I kind of ascribe to the discipline that if you've taken the training and you've done it, you've got somewhere else, you've got a certificate, you ought to apply as long as you know the difference between policy of this organization, the policy of another organization. But that's a big, huge, that depends. And, you know, the State Division of Human Rights ultimately, the arbiter will disagree with my opinion on that, but they have opined that if you work for an employment agency, you don't have to take it in every place they assign you to. So I think I think they consider the training to be a transferable skill. I don't know. They don't like me much.
We love it. So,
We have to take action on it.
No, that you basically, the policy hasn't changed. It's more of the role. If you want to just re-adopt the sexual harassment policy that you adopted at January organization meeting, you can, well, formality's sake, and implement the new training, but it's more formality for the minutes than anything else.
Right. Driver training policy, we do have that, but Greg, you said that's really just an FYI at this point.
Yes,
Right.
you have to review it to see if folks have any questions or.
You and him, came up months ago. Training the line. Talk about it together.
Yeah, it's got to be, I got my own stuff on Friday, probably, because it's.
Back in, came up, so this, as long as it gets. Somebody discusses it, we end up on the same page.
Okay.
Business operations and technology,
yes, I guess website has been a problem. I did something to it and I can't undo it. Usually I can. So Cheese, if you remember Adam Stewart, that was the original one that set it up. He swore to God, he never done this. There yet. But I I was gonna reach out to Dave Young, just see about maybe have. them give us a quote or take it over. But Dave Young say he kind of does it on the side of his own.
Okay.
So at least we'd have somebody who's familiar with our system and all of that.
That's a
So
good idea.
I'm gonna explore that, but I'm still working with Tad to get it up and I apologize. It's at his leisure that he makes it there, feel like a main house, but
Yeah, well,
hopefully we'll have it resolved for next month. Okay.
no, why don't you get a quote from him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's a wise one.
Yep.
All right, development plan review.
Our shadow. Letter of mysteries.
I'll have a grow opening. You're right, that building is that.
They're talking about late summer. It's gonna be ready, I guess they're trying to get like 3 of them ready all at the same time. Regional grand opening or something. They got a bunch of employees, they gotta train.
Also, not our shadow.
Yeah, I got over the letter.
But I didn't bring it up obviously. Basically, as you know, we had a meeting with the town water department, a couple of town board members, chiefs, some others in the room. Just long story short, we're running water scenarios. I know we're Wyanskill and also out back. Neighborhoods are losing water, flushing hydrants in Troy right now. We got neighborhoods losing water. One of the things that came out of the meeting was that the town is fed by one 8-inch line that's shared with Troy, Brunswick, and possibly Poston Hill. Eventually, the new water district comes online or something like that. So obviously, I brought up concerns on our end. The chief says, you know, markedly so. They put some policies in place where, you know, by the town, you know, we'll stuff on the water tower or something, and then we can drill. So we're just basically letter outlining our understanding of the conversations we had with them. And our concerns, just basically looking for an engineering study when they start proposing development. Kind of a more recent last year and a half, 2-year type problem, kind of coincides with the new water line going in. So it's just basically we're sending a letter out to each individual town board member, planning board, but it's directly at the water department.
Membership recruitment and retention, Bob Miller and Rich French.
Oh, I've got nothing.
Said nothing.
I have
Yeah, I can hear you, Bob.
Okay.
applications in front of us for training. Chris Laguerre for Bridgeville. Ryan AJ Church in Wyanskill. Chaz White. Wyanskill. Darlene White, Wyanskill, and Claire Wilson, I recognize that name. All the paperwork seems to be there in order. I would make motion that we approve all five.
All seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries with three.
I'm gonna go up and money to buy about 5 more sets of gear.
Make that a problem.
I know, that's not a problem, we, just like,
There will be a need for us to go into executive session, but we'll go public session up now, so there's a possibility that we could re-enter after executive session, but anything for public session at this point. David.
I know you mentioned about the low SAP program being 86% funded. I know you were talking about the amount of interest we were receiving on that pile of money. I was wondering if you guys had any more updates on that. From 3% we're getting.
Yeah, it's at 4.25% now. The reason for the underfunding, the primary culprit for that is that years ago, 8 years ago, we changed the age of entitlement from 65 to 62. So that means there was a need for greater funding for that, you know, for the planning. And hopefully, I think it's in 2032, they amortized it out over a number of years, so we should be caught up in 2032 on,
Do you anticipate the interest rate helping us on that?
oh, absolutely, because we were supposed to be making that rate with N power. But it's supposed to be a variable rate of interest with a floor of 3.5%. And then if they earned more than that, we were supposed to make more than that. But they didn't do that. So that's why one of the reasons why we left Empower and now went to National Life for the higher rate.
Is there anything that we can do legally against them for not following through?
I would think that there should be a class action lawsuit for all fire districts, best with GFIS, that kind of all 1.5%, but I'm not an attorney. Keep my head down.
It might be something to look into anyways, because it would be quite a bit of money.
Any other public session? You go into executive session to discuss the employment history. Work. And, potential contract or professional services. Favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Is,
Okay. You're gonna call,
Yeah, you can call in.
yeah, Bob, someone will call you for the executive session, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'm closing out.